Hi, my name is Patricia Potts, and welcome to Voices of Hope. Today I have Gwendolyn with me, and she's gone through some pretty tough stuff and come out on the bright side, and I wanted to have her share with you some of the things that made the difference. Gwendolyn.
Well, probably one of the very hardest times in my life was when I had a son be on drugs. Actually, before he was on drugs, he was doing some other bad stuff, but we didn't really know he was, because there was so much lying and everything. It was just really a pain. It just hurt my heart to not even be able to talk to him, because I didn't think he'd tell me the truth, so why bother, you know? It just, it really hurt our relationship, and I found myself just pleading to God for help. That was the biggest thing. And of course, I tried to do everything I knew to that helped. I knew that scriptures were good, and I would always read I'm very committed to reading my scriptures and going to church, and I think I have a natural gift of trusting. I trust that God has told our prophets what we should do, and I believe them and I do it. I just do what I'm supposed to do. And
so you found when you were going through that, and I've gone through that with two of my children too, you found one of the keys for you was just, you know, being able to obey what you knew the prophets of God wanted you to do.
Right. As long as I was doing that, then I knew that what they were going through was because they had to go through it, not because of something I was or wasn't doing. Not that I'm a perfect mom, of course, nobody is. But I was definitely always trying to make sure that I was doing everything I could.
So you do your part.
Yes. And
so these are tools, these are two tools that you found really helpful.
Yes.
When you had a child on drugs.
Yes. And I also have some natural talents that it helped me through it. I'm sure there are gifts of the Spirit too. God gives each one of us specific trials and weaknesses, and also strengths. And the strengths we're given are specific to us, so that we can make it through our trials, and also will grow. And my specific strengths are that I am filled with hope, and I'm naturally happy.
It's true, folks. It's true.
I'm very naturally happy, so that I always look for things to make me happier and hopeful. And my mom was like this, you know, when she just barely died, and I was able to speak at her funeral, and that was one of the things that I said, I want to be like my mom always. And that even through, I mean, she had not just children, but all these grandchildren that were going through hard times, and she would always hold on to the slightest glimmer of hope, that each one would make it through it, and she just encouraged them all along the way. And I've had some children go through this completely and come out just, they are serving honorably their missions on the earth. And even though they didn't go on a specific full-time mission like so many people in our church do, they were, they are doing wonderful things with their lives. I have some children right now who are going through some pretty hard times, and I just am filled with hope that they will also come through it.
So a lot of it's kind of seeing with an eye of faith.
Oh yes.
Looking up ahead and saying,
lots of faith.
we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. Well, that's really helpful. You know, I know for myself, we ended up actually going through drug rehab with one of our daughters. But once again, as Gwendolyn was saying, it was a situation where I really felt like we were led in a direction that we needed to go, as were you.
Oh yes, it was definitely an answer to prayer, everybody's prayers. when my son was caught by the police and was taken to jail. That was the beginning of his being able to get off drugs. He had just
Wow.
2 weeks before, after 5 years of struggling to get off drugs on his own, had finally just said, okay, I guess I'm just going to have to give up my life and
Wow.
accept that I'm going to be a junkie all my life. So this was an answer to prayer, that this is the way that he was able to make the change.
Yeah.
And there were many tears.
Yeah.
It was a very, very hard road to go cold turkey in jail, that he did.
Wow.
And he to this day realizes that he still is a drug addict. He just is a recovering one, and that he's, as many right decisions as he makes, he's only one wrong decision away from going right back to it and losing it all. So he's very, very realistic, and it's helped us a lot.
And what Gwendolyn said about that is something that oftentimes you'll hear in 12-step meetings. I'm only one drink away from being a drunk. Making the kinds of choices that will help facilitate not only a recovery but a continued maintaining a sober life, and hopefully a more sane life. At least we as parents feel a whole lot better when our kids are making those better choices.
Oh, yes.
So Gwendolyn has talked to us a little bit and shared with us today about the darkness of what it's like to be a parent who has a child on drugs, as well as what for her was the real things that helped her get through it. And in Gwendolyn's case, she really used a lot of faith, a lot of prayer, and a lot of hoping and praying for better times to come. And so what I would like to do is just maybe you could just share with our friends here just in a summary of what you would want them to know and hear at this point.
I just feel really strongly that all of us can make it through our hard times if we just turn to God. I've always been very determined that we can, if we just work and try hard enough and pray hard enough, that we'll make it through everything, every trial. That God has given us all these trials for us to grow stronger and be more like Him.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us today, and I hope you are also enjoying this beautiful garden that Gwendolyn has lovingly put together. I think there are times in all of our lives when it feels like life is just a mound of dirt and weeds. And I would guess that this began like some dirt and weeds, am I right? But now look, with her hard work and her optimism and hope, it's beautiful. So may you all find hope in Gwendolyn's voice, and find hope for today and tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.